Hi guys, Brad here with Legendary Auto Salon. So I haven't done a little video in a little while. I've been extremely busy, not just with the work, but some like inside the business type work. And one of the areas I've been really focusing on, there was a pain point that came around in the business, and I really believe in transparency. I believe that my client following, the ones that have stuck with me for 5-6 years, even 2-3 years, whatever, have really been there because they've followed my journey, and the growth of the business and the ups and downs. And I really like sharing that transparency to the business. And I'm a true believer that pain, the struggles that we face, are opportunities to grow, and that as a business owner, I believe that either the business is growing or I'm growing, and it's on one side or the other. And for probably like the last year or so, I faced a lot of challenges. We had a major change in staffing. We cut down a service offering in the business. I lost my father. I was kind of dealing with dialing things back to fundamentals so I could recapture the essence of what Legendary Auto Salon is. And one of the pain points that I've kind of come across is that I sit in a space where we are constantly compared in a digital world with big businesses, right? Big YouTube celebrities, those sorts of things. But also, I'm starting to get to the place that I thought I'd never get to, where my competitors have big wallets, right? Dealerships are entering into the space of paint protection film. They had entered into the space of ceramic coatings a long time back. They really don't gain as much traction in that ceramic coating environmental level of protection as detailers do, because their integrity is always in question, because they've offered those protection offerings many times in the past, and oftentimes customers found that it was a snake oil sale, and it was just a sale of a warranty or some bullshit fluff to build up that F&I back end. And so the trust wasn't there. And so what dealerships started doing was just slamming it right into the deal. Like, you've got to have this because we've already done it. So that ceramic coating market has definitely taken a hit all around the world as dealerships start taking on that. And some of us specialized in paint protection film offerings. And myself, I started about 5 years ago, where a couple of friends of mine were like, yeah, we want paint protection film. We want to make sure we don't get stone chips on the front of our nice, show cars. And you can do it, Brad. Go ahead. And I jumped in and learned very quickly, it's hard as fuck. It's not just hard to install, it's hard to business. It's a difficult client. It's a particular client that's beyond the level of particular that I typically deal with, because they're concerned with making sure that tiny chips aren't on their car. And so therefore, the film that I install has to look amazing as well. And there's also, on the other side of that, a saying in the industry: in order to get everybody installing, it's paint protection film, not paint perfection film. So, that's the manufacturers trying to sell more products. They want more installers. They want you to kind of screw up. They want you to learn, because you're going to buy more film. And the film ain't cheap. So what I discovered was, as these big wallets started entering into the market, a lot of business and a lot of my industry has started following that model. And a lot of us have a tendency to lose sight in this herd mentality of following a trend that seems to be working, right? And the saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, the grass isn't always greener on the other side because it's likely it's lined with shit, and that's why it's so green. You know, everything's shit. So their shit may be a different shit, but in order for them to get that green grass or the perception of a green grass, it's probably shit. We all have our areas of shit. We all have our areas of weakness. One of the areas of weaknesses that I have is that I cannot do volume here. I struggle so hard. I've tried to get into it. We've had 3-4 people in here. We're in such a small area that I can't support heavy volume because those low-end services, the detailing stuff, we just don't crank that volume in order to keep somebody busy to train up and get people. It's just, there's a lot of challenges to it. Geographically, location-wise, this is not a volume space. However, geographically, I am in an absolutely legendary location for that niche market that comes to me. That people, because we're situated between Lake George and Saratoga Springs, we have that transient community that comes to this area that wants that special touch of small town customer service, that working with that small business owner that's delivering with a level of passion, right? And I think that in this area, you know, I would say 80% of my clients, 80% of my 20%, the top 20%, 80% of the top 20% are transient customers. They live most of their time in New York City, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Florida, where have you. So, and they have summer homes here. So, that being said, you know, I've been dialing back to my roots in that, you know, what was the itch I tried to scratch originally? And I believe that when you start a business, you're trying to, you know, scratch your own itch, right? That's the best way to deliver a passionate offering that really solves a problem, because you can't market better to anyone else than yourself. Like you're the archetype of your customer. I know I'm a difficult person to probably deal with as a customer because my expectations are high and discerning. And by default, I've managed to find all the high expectation customers that are extremely discerning. And what do they not want to deal with? What did I not want to deal with? And taking that negative approach in order to see what positives you have, I think is enlightening. So some of the things that I didn't want to deal with, I didn't want my vehicle being touched by 100 hands. You know, when I go get my tires changed, I don't want to bring it to a big high volume place. I don't want somebody fresh out of school driving my car. Nothing against these people. It's that I want somebody working with my vehicle that is using a level of care that like it's their own, okay? And so lots of my competition can do that, and lots of people can say that they do that. That's fine. So what else? I want a level of transparency to a business and accountability to a business process that comes in connection with dealing with a small business owner versus a large corporation. Okay? I think a lot of people speak that. I don't know that everybody always walks that walk. You know, they'll still at the end of the day go to Walmart to buy their stuff. So, you know, what else do we have here? Well, I want to deal with someone that has that same level of passion. So, you know, I'm a watch collector. I love my timepieces for reasons other than materialism. I like them. I won't get into that, but that's another video. But I want to walk in a door and be greeted by someone wearing the watch that I love, knowing about the watch, teaching me things about watches that I can still learn. I want that experience when I go in that door to be not just, you know, walking up to the counter at like JCPenney. I go into an Omega boutique, and I want to be overwhelmed with the history of Omega, and I want to have them point out the niche differences between the movements. That's important to me. So in a niche offering with a level of passion, not a lot of hands in the pot. What is that going to take to maintain or build that business model? I think I built it. I think what has happened in some of the pain that I've experienced over the last year has been, as I've branded with certain brands, what comes with that is a lot of the noise of customer base that is purchasing based on product brand versus legendary brands. And they're not in love with legendary brands because they got to me from product brands. And product brands tends to cater towards the touch points that may or may not be easily replicated in those big pocket businesses or those dealerships. So whatever product I use ever, it doesn't matter, because what I'm going to use is going to be the best for the customer every time, because it's going to be the best for me, because I'm my first customer. I scratch my own itch, and anything that I do for a customer for service is something that I'm going to sell to myself. So it doesn't matter whether I use brand X or I use brand Y, as long as it's a product that I believe in. So I don't need to be paired with a big name manufacturer. And I've said this, and I've ran into this multiple times before, and I fixed some problems in my business multiple times before through help of a mentor, identifying that I was focusing too much on identifying with a brand that was a manufacturer brand, instead of identifying with the true core values and the things that made Legendary Auto Salon tick. And that is where I think the rebirth isn't even the right word, because we've been doing pretty well. I want to say the revisitation of what made Legendary legendary. And for that reason, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that I do not associate any of my business aspects with the things that these higher volume stores are doing, and stop listening to the noise of that noise of competitors, which I feel like I'm pretty good at. Noise of manufacturers, noise of industry, and focus on the noise of my client. And in turn, I'm hoping to get back the influx of clients. I've had a large influx of clients that do not fit my standard archetype. And that was really what this all came down to, is that I start feeling more pain when I start dealing with customers that shouldn't have been my customers. They should have been at a dealership. They wanted things out of the transaction that a dealership can offer, that I cannot offer. But they did not value the things that I offer that they can't. And so for 2025, my mission, my goals for 2025 is to double, triple, quadruple down on the things that make Legendary legendary. And so what I've been putting in place is a lot of I know my number one weak point is that I don't have somebody up front, right? I use lots of automated processes and systems to try to manage things. But in the end of the day, if a customer wants to call me 5 times in a day, you're just pulling my focus away from what I'm doing. And even when we've had 4 people here, I never had anybody up front. So one of the things that I've put in place is a new phone system to really dial back the number of BS calls and robocalls and telemarketers, so I can really get a gauge on the metrics of what those calls are, and then bring in a person to run the upfront and really deal with that experience. It doesn't mean that I'm going to step away from that part of the experience, but to help allocate my time best, because I'm the type of person that I need to dive in 100% into my flow state. And if I'm installing, I need to be installing. If I'm doing marketing, I need to be doing marketing. If I'm working on the business, I need to be working on the business. If I'm looking at the books, I need to be looking at the books. And distractions for me take me out of that flow state. And it doesn't mean I'm not versatile. It just means that I want to give 100% of Brad to anything that I'm doing. And it's very frustrating to me when I can't give 100% of my brain power or my physical power or what have you to that mission. So that's number one. And there's a couple of other things I'm putting in place to that. We're revamping and razor sharpening some of the aspects of the business to really say, what do? I protect cars. And I do it with a level of passion and enthusiasm of a car enthusiast that walks the walk of a car enthusiast. And anything that I offer is a recommendation that I would do for my own car. Everything that comes out of my shop is a sample of how I want things to be for my collection. And that customer experience, and it plays in my company video on the webpage, I want my customers to feel the way I want to feel when I'm dealing with this kind of service. I want them to be treated the way I want to be treated. And I want the level of protection for my customers that I'd want for myself. So that's just a little sneak peek, just a little blah, 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 blah. If you watch this kind of thing, you're probably a very loyal follower, and I love you for it. You are legendary. You're a VIP. And thank you for all of your support over all of these years. I think we're in a place where we're past year 5 now. So now it's time to, I'm in the ring with big boys. It's time for me to box. And not like a Mike Tyson type boxing match. All right, guys. Brad, Legendary Auto Salon. I hope to be able to transform your car into its best version. You have a great day.